What's happening, everybody? It's your boy. Yes, sir. We back. We are back. Let's talk with Stanley Doucette is now rolling, baby. We are on the air on onevoiceradio.com, and we making this thing happen in a big, big way. Listen, I want to shout out to all my people all over the world. Hello to the people in Brazil. Hello to my friends in Britain. Hello to my people in South Africa and Australia and New Zealand and China and the West Indies. Hello to my Bahamas people. Hello to the Canada people. And of course, hello to my people in America. Whoa, now my folks in New Orleans, shout out to everybody that's hanging out down there. Listen, I'm excited about today's podcast. I'm bringing it down today because I think it's something that's so powerful that I don't even want to get excited about. I want to share it in its authentic way because I think this is something we all can continuously improve upon, right? So the topic of today is how to be more authentic. Let me share that again. How to be more authentic. I'm going to give you several points on things that we can do to continue to help us climb higher in authenticity. So I want to make sure that I'm taking my time. I don't want to rush. I don't want to fumble over words or any of those things. So I want to make sure we're doing that. While I start doing the commercials, if you guys would do me a favor, go get a pen and paper, some pads, something to take notes with, something to write some stuff down with to make sure that you get this information because we're continuously building with our community, our family. We want to make sure that Let's Talk fanfare, the bases, the family, and everybody in between is knowledgeable and empowered by so many different things. We have several guests that's going to be coming on, but for the last few weeks, I just wanted to just share some things that have been on my heart and just been able to push it out to make sure we all are able to continuously learn in the greatest capacity. So again, go ahead and get you something to take some notes with. If you're driving, please don't try to grab your pen and all of that stuff. Just continue to stay focused on the road, and we'll make sure that you get this information. So now to our commercials. I don't have a sponsor today. It's actually, I want to shout out actually my mentor today. That's who, matter of fact, that's who's going to be the sponsor for today. My mentor, Lord Dr. Sam Oram. The reason I'm saying that, and I'm smiling as I say it, is because way back, many moons ago, we had a conversation about authenticity that to this day has literally rang true and continues to help me lift myself up, but also change my life forever. It has been absolutely incredible about how he poured into me on this whole topic of authenticity. Trust me, it was powerful. A lot of those notes, some of those things I'll share with you today on our podcast because I want to make sure you get the same information that I had that impacted me so greatly. So now that I've said that, I have my sponsor, Lord Dr. Sam Oram. He don't even know it. He's going to listen to this and going to be like, oh my God. So anywho, listen, I'm on all the social media platforms from Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. Make sure y'all go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. It's just Let's Talk with Stanley. I think it's Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette. Just go there, subscribe, and make it happen. And then also on Instagram. So we're on all of the platforms. We're having fun and all those things. Also, go to Let's Talk with StanleyDoucette.com. You'll be able to get all of the actual podcasts that have been previously recorded. You get those, you'll be able to learn, educate yourself on whatever topic that you want, that you see deemed fit for you, because we want to make sure we're continuously pouring into everyone all over the world. Shout out to everybody that's excited this morning, or I should say this afternoon. I'm still in the morning time, but to this afternoon. So let's get started, right? Remember, our topic today is how to be more authentic. Let me say that again. How to be more authentic. Now, number one, this is going to show you how powerful this podcast is. Number one, give up the act. Give up the act. Give up the act. What is that saying? Be yourself. It is exhausting trying to be someone you're not. It is absolutely exhausting trying to be someone you're not. Compartmentalizing and presenting a different version of you to all the various groups in your life will drain you to your core. You know, you're trying to put on for that group, and then you got to switch hats to put on for this group, and then you got to do this for that one and do this for that one. Listen, reallocate your energies to living in line with your own values. Stop putting on or doing or putting a mask on to, be cool with this group, and then you got to switch masks to do that group and then do this and do. Listen, please give up the act, please. Because, when you start being yourself, you'll see how much more powerful you are. But when you're consistently trying to do things for, or put on for others, I should say, you're acting in certain ways that's not you. Don't do that. And you come off as a fake, a complete fake. And in this situation, if you are doing that, you are a fake. You're not being who you should be. So we want to make sure that we're giving up the act. True authenticity is born when you give up trying to please everyone else and say, this is me, whether you like it or not. This is me, whether you like it or not. Now, let me share this. Let me share this. If you are putting on an act, or if you have to give up the act, let me just share this with you. I want to share this with you in a mighty, mighty way, because this is off the charts. There are going to be people you thought were your friends or your family or whatever it may be, that they are literally going to look at you and say something crazy, that you change, or you're not yourself, or whatever it may be. When you start coming out and being authentic and you're giving up the act, you're not being somebody else and being you, I guarantee you people will absolutely, absolutely tell you you have changed. Positive on that. I am not even exaggerating. I know that is going to happen. So make sure we do that. All it takes is to affirm your new authentic self is to give up your act. That's all. Just give it up. Stop being it. When you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, just give it up, because you're going to see how much more less pressure you have trying to put on for X, Y, or Z. Now, I hear some people saying, oh, I don't do that. I don't do that. Okay, you don't do it. Great. Well, they also have some people that's doing that, whether they're putting on this facade for their career or their job or their business or whatever it may be, or they're putting on a facade in their relationship, acting like I like this person or holding on, but really in a sense of doing something else. It's interesting. I had a conversation with my mom, and it was a great, great conversation. And we kind of got a little bit into this. Here is the interesting thing she said that was powerful to me. She said she never really found someone that made her move outside of herself. She always tried to be authentic. And that was interesting to me. I'm not going to get into our conversation because that's not your business. But she said she always wanted to be authentic and to be herself. So I thought that was interesting. Maybe I'll talk about that conversation later, but I just thought that was really interesting. Here's another thing she said, though. She said, in doing that, but it took us some years to get to that point. I said, well, Mom, how is it that you say you are? She said, no, let me rephrase that. She said, it took me some time to become myself and into myself and knowing who she was. And she said, she don't bend on who she is now at all. This is who she is. And she had that saying, this is me, whether you like it or not. So I thought that was really cool. We was having that conversation, knowing today that I was going to be having this podcast on being more authentic. So it was just apropos for this. I share this with everybody, and make sure, don't lie to yourself. If you are in this space and you're kind of doing some acts with different clubs or media empires or whatever it may be, listen, you can change in an instant. It only takes one decision. And once you make that decision, then you'll see how much more powerful an impact you will have on society. All right. So number 2, this is a good one. Get comfortable being vulnerable. Get comfortable being vulnerable. There is no authenticity where there is no truth. Let me say that again. There is no authenticity where there is no truth. And there is no truth where there is no vulnerability. So learn to lean into the discomfort of expressing how you feel, speaking up for yourself, and calling out the bullshit in your life. Now, that's a strong statement, but it's also very true. See, you can't have the authenticity without being honest with yourself, truth, telling the truth, how you feel, what you're thinking. When you start doing that, you're going to be truthful, but then there's also going to have some vulnerability into it. And let me just say this, guys. Being vulnerable is sometimes the most difficult thing to do because it goes back to number one. So much of our time have been put on being in an act or doing and acting a certain way, not truly being you. So now we're saying get comfortable being vulnerable. So now you're talking about, okay, I got to tell the truth. I got to be vulnerable. Like this is foreign. If you're being honest, look at yourself, look inward. If you're being honest, right? Let's ask a question. How many of us have lied about something so we don't have to be vulnerable or kind of skirt the truth or not give all of the details so we don't have to be vulnerable? That's where we are. So we're saying simply this: lean into the discomfort of expressing how you truly, truly feel. Lean into that and then speak up for yourself and calling out the bullshit in your life. Call it out, talk about it, get it out. When you do, listen to me, I've done this. It is going to make you lighter. It's going to take off a lot of burdens. It's going to move things out of you to help you move forward. It's going to release a lot of stress and tension on things you shouldn't even be carrying. Listen, I always use, I don't say always, but a lot of times I use this when I'm speaking or teaching or training or coaching or whatever, right? When you go to the airport and you go to the luggage and you're getting your luggage, I always ask the question, do you get your own luggage or do you get everybody's luggage on the carousel? And everybody say, no, I get my own luggage. Well, I share to the audience, I share to the family, keep your own luggage. Pick up your own luggage, meaning everybody else's burden, everybody else's stress, everybody else's worry, that's their burden and responsibilities. You have your own. So if you keep your own, it's going to remove a lot of stress. When you're starting to now speak up to say who you are, you're now rejecting other people's thoughts and things that they're trying to put on you and allow you to simply be you. And there is no better person in this world or on this planet that's better being you than you. So please be you. Honesty and openness are oxygen for authenticity to thrive, excuse me. Honesty and openness are oxygen for authenticity to thrive. There is no genuineness without a candid dose of reality. There is no genuineness without, I think I said the wrong word, but there is no genuineness without a candid dose of reality first. Being true to you. Remember, removing all of the BS out of your life, getting it out, calling it out, talking about the foolishness that you've done, and then you're able to move forward. Speak from your soul, and you'll never lack authenticity. A lot of times we deny that. We say we're not good enough or they're not ready for it or whatever, untruth that we tell ourselves. But remember, if we get vulnerable, if we get comfortable about being vulnerable, those things will automatically come out because now we're talking about how to be more authentic. If you look at our title, How to Be More Authentic, and you start doing these things, I'm telling you, it's going to relieve you from a lot of stress and anguish and all of those other things. All right. Number 3, do it for you. Do it for you. If you want to live more authentic life, you'll have to ditch those things that made you comfortable living in, listen to this, inauthentic life to begin with. If you're living an inauthentic life, you're going to have to get rid of that stuff. You have to, because you're doing it for you. You're doing it to relieve stress, to relieve anguish. Listen, the world already give us enough stress. We don't have to continue to have that stress. So we have to move those things out, right? Now, Where am I? And the meaning, and that means shifting your priorities. That's a big one. Listen, guys, when I was going through these exercises a while ago, and started shifting my priorities and realizing, as my mentor would say, eating a big piece of chicken or taking the plastic off the sofas and all of those things, right? When I started moving my priorities to me and understanding who I was, it was difficult. I'm just telling you, it was difficult because I was living for someone else. I had the act going on and I was doing all kind of stuff. I wasn't vulnerable. So now when you start talking about doing this for yourself, man, it was difficult. So I'm trying to be authentic without being authentic. That's crazy to me, right? That's what I was doing. So as I've continued to build upon this, I was like, man, I didn't realize I wasn't even being myself. How could you help someone else? A son, a daughter, an aunt, an uncle, a mother, a father, a sister, a brother. How can you help any of those individuals when you don't even know yourself? How can you help any of those people when you're doing something else? So instead of operating based on the expectation of others, learn to trust your own intuition instead. I didn't even trust me. Let me just, y'all, I know y'all are high on the hog and I know y'all doing y'all thing and y'all great. Let me say this for the people that's going to be honest. I didn't even know myself. Let me say that again. I didn't even know myself because for so long I was putting on for other people and just doing what I thought they wanted me to say or do or hear. But then as I continue to grow, as I continue to build and have more capacity for my life and other things that I wanted to do and continue to be great, here's what happened. Those things start to fall away. I also noticed there's a lot of friends I use the word friends loosely, that started to fall away as well. And when those individuals started to fall away and move and do other things, it was a sign that I was growing. See, when you grow, think about this. If you think about a piece of grass, right? And it coming out of the dirt from the root and it's starting to grow and get higher and higher and higher. Once it get out the dirt and it gets to a certain point, certain things that live in the dirt can't touch the top. It just can't touch the top. So what do I do when we talk about not being able to touch the top? It's simple. You've grown beyond the things that's at the bottom. So as you continue to grow, there are going to be friends, family, relatives, associates that may not be able to rock with you anymore because you're doing it for yourself. When you talk about how to be more authentic and you start living in that vein, it becomes better and better and better and better. Um, let me just think. If you are you and no one else can be you, why are we trying to put on for other people and allow them to control us? Let me just say that again. If we are who we are, if you are you, and there's no other person better than to be you, why then are we putting on for other people and allowing them to control us? I'm gonna get into that later, but that's just a thought that came to me. So chartering your own course and blazing your own trail can indeed be scary because now you're doing something that most people in society are telling you to do this and do that, but now you're trailblazing your own trail. You're burning it up for yourself, but other people are saying you should just follow the crowd. Listen, be authentically you. That's all I want you to do. Be authentically you. But the least you'll know, it serves you best because you trust your own instinct. See, when you're doing it yourself, you're serving and doing things for the best of you. I know that sounds kind of crazy, and I can hear people saying, oh, that's selfish. If you die, who are you helping? If you go into a crazy house, as some people say, or a mental institution, and you can't express who you are, then who are you really helping? See, the gifts that's deep inside of you can't come out because you're not living you're not living authentic. So you have to be in that space. All right. Number 4, focus on connection, not possessions. Focus on connection, not possession. This goes into relationships. Close relationships built on trust add a lasting value of your life that the fleeing value belonging can't touch. When you have something fleeing, when you have something, I think it's called ephemeral, you cannot literally touch somebody because that stuff starts to flee. But when you're building a relationship on trust, when you're building a relationship on trust, when you're building a relationship on trust. Now, let me pause here. That is a big statement in and of itself, because if we're going through how to be more authentic and we're running across people, like we said, they're acting, they're not vulnerable, they're not doing it for themselves, then how can we build a close relationship on trust? Because a lot of people are not being trustworthy, right? That's where we have to be very smart about who we consider friends. But when you find that friend that has the relationship, the genuineness, the truth, the love, the purity, and really be a friend, then you have something special. When you start shifting your priorities as you're growing, instead of operating based on the expectation of others, just continue to still be you. Relationships is all, listen, I believe a relationship is the greatest value or the greatest currency there is in the world. That's an opinion of mine. I just think it's a great value. So when you're talking about connecting and not possessing, that's where we are. Ultimately, it all boils down to a meaning. What are you putting value on? What are you doing those things on? Items and possessions only have meanings because the value assorted to them by a group of people. Simply saying somebody put value on it, right? So if you think about gold, people put a certain value on gold, but then people also put a certain value on money, paper money or coins. Well, they don't really have too many coins anymore, but you guys get my point, right? Or some of you guys in the crypto space, they're like, people put a value on that. But let's focus on the connection, not the possession, because the connection in and of itself will allow you to move beyond all of these other things. See, people then can't put a value on you and say, this is how you move. I think about this as a job. Now, this is not to bash a job, but there are people that's making 60, 70, 100, 200, $300,000 of income from their job or their career, right? But I asked that question, I'm asking you the question, or you value that, or do you put that value on yourself, whether it's a $60,000 a year job or it's a $500,000 a year job? Is that your value, right? We can't allow other people to continue to value ourselves. Now, I'm not job bashing or career bashing. I'm making a point. If you be authentically you and you begin to blaze a trail for yourself, then you begin to see your true value. I understand, and I want to make this clear. People have to pay bills and they may love their career. They may love what they're doing. I get it. There's no issue with that with me whatsoever. But my question is not about the job. It's about your value and who you really are. So I want to make sure that as we're building relationships, that we'll build it and focusing on connections and not possessions. See, a connection is much deeper. Here's why I say I think it's one of the greatest, if not the greatest currency, is in the top two, in my opinion. But for me, it's number one, because think about it. If your friend owns the jet and you need a jet, you just go get the jet, right? I'm saying that this is a true friend. If your friend owns, I don't know, the cell phone company, and you need a cell phone, you just go get a cell phone or a mobile phone, whatever it may be, because it's the relationship. My friends, if I have it, and I say my friends, everybody not my friend, but my friends know if I have it, I'll give it. It's not a problem because they are my friends. If you are, if I love you genuinely, purely, then there's nothing I'm not going to do for you because of the connection of the relationship. Now, let me pause here, right? That is a true friend, a deep friend, a love friend, all of those things. Now, there's some other people that want to be considered a friend, but is not even close to being who they are to me. So there's some people that don't have the capacity, the knowledge, the intellect, or anything to have that level of a conversation. But there are some people that's in my life personally that there's nothing I would not do for them. Now let me there's only maybe a couple of people that I can say that to. But understand, everybody, when we talk about real connections and not possessions, you hold that real connection, and that's the purpose and the part. Because when you talk about living authentically, you building on those relationships, and you're not putting on. It's not a fraud. You're not putting on. All right. So number five, be humble. Be humble. Humility, please, ladies and gentlemen, humility. I'm fortunate enough to know some people that are billionaires, millionaires, and thousandaires, right? I also know some people that's struggling right now. I also know some people that's in between monies, or whatever you want to call it. So it has a why, but I don't ever go and boast and brag and just do all of that stuff. I don't do that. Humility and authenticity go hand in hand, in my opinion. Think about it. Just think about that. You don't have to come out of the womb bragging about your achievements and trying to conquer the world and just telling everybody this is who I am. Your ego learned to prop you up with all kind of behavior and affirmations. If you want to live a more authentic life, approach everything through the lens of humility and curiosity, because an explorer feeling your way through the twists and turns of the jungle, that is your journey. Do not try to do something outside of that. When you start talking about how things in your ego, a lot of times when you say ego, I know all of you have heard of this, right? Ego is an acronym from edging God out. You're the one. You're walking around saying I'm the one, and you're boasting, you puff your chest out, and you're saying I'm the one and I have all the answers, and it doesn't matter what my wife say or what my husband say. I'm telling you, I know it. And you start, your wife or your husband to ask you a question, and all of a sudden you pipe up and say, I know how to do this, and I know how, and you don't know what you're talking about. And I deal in facts, and I deal in this, and I deal in that. Listen, bring that down and listen, because the answer is standing before you. We don't know every single thing under the sun. So make sure we stay humble. When we stay humble, it opens up so many things. Also being humble, I call it being an attraction, right? Here's what I mean. When you're humble and you're in that space and you're not trying to brag or boast or any of those things, being humble simply allows people to now be drawn to you, because they know you're going to share with them, talk to them. You're not going to talk down to them. You're not going to try to stand up the hill and pound your chest, talking about this is what you're supposed to do and that's what you're supposed to do, and I don't care about this one and I don't care about that one. You need to do this. Well, no, we're not doing that. But instead, if somebody is warm, loving to you, sharing with you, opening things up, talking to you, conversing with you, being down to earth, sharing. See, those things are not the opposite. Those are just being humble. See, being in a space where you're just sharing, hey, listen, I'm not quite sure about that topic. I don't know. Yes, I've had a lot of success in other things, but I don't really know about that topic. But what I can do, sis or brother or whatever it may be, I can call so and so and ask them if they know, because me, I don't know that subject like that. Being humble, being honest, being genuine, that's the authentic you, because you're putting away the BS and being totally you. That's how I see being humble. Here's another one, number 6. Again, we're talking about how to be more authentic. This is powerful. I hope you guys are getting something out of this. Number 6, act, don't react. Act, but don't react. You can live an authentic life if you're consistently riding on the cocktails of what other people are doing. You can't live an authentic life if you're constantly riding on the cocktails of what other people are doing. Listen, social media is filled with that. If you look at people's social media page, you're like, clearly I'm doing something wrong in my life. I am absolutely doing something wrong in my life. But here's an interesting story when you talk about the social media and how people are acting. And it's funny. Let me share with you why. I was actually at a gas station. I was pulling up, putting gas in the car, and I saw somebody actually pull up. I think it was in a Bentley, and they pulled up, nice Bentley, it was sweet, all of those good things. And I literally saw 2 young ladies walk over to the guy. They conversed for a little while, And the only thing that they were asking him, because this is the evidence later on, they literally just start snapping pictures with his permission, of course. So they standing up, by the hood and standing up and, flashing and up. I'm sure those pictures landed up on social media, right? So I just thought it was funny. But the reason I'm saying that is be your authentic self. You can't live authentic. You can't live an authentic life if you're constantly doing and writing and consistently doing other things because of what other people are doing or what other people are saying. Be you. Instead, follow along, take the lead. Take the lead. Be the leader. You don't have to do what other people are doing. See, a lot of people follow the crowd, but leaders blaze their own trail. I know it's easier sometimes to do. I'm gonna tell you guys a story. I remember, like I said, yesterday I was in the police department, and in the police department, here's something interesting that happened to me. I was literally rolling, and I was doing some things on the police department. And in the police department, I was just there, just like, hey, let's make this thing happen. Let's do this in a big way. And as we're talking about how to be more authentic, I literally was there, just like, okay, we're gonna be good. Here's what happened. Here's what happened. We were, we had this. They started. We was in a specialized unit, and they told us that we have to literally start living. Working weekends. And I was like, okay, start working weekends. It was like, but it's just Saturday for 4 hours in this specialized unit. Well, the specialized unit, these people raised all kind of hell. I mean, upside down hell. I mean, all kind of ways they were raising hell. But instead of them going to the commander and saying something, what they did was they kind of, sort of, almost kind of went to the commander and say, well, it's impossible we can. And he was like, well, it didn't come from me, blah, blah, blah. But it came from, higher up, whatever. These young men, officers, they actually wrote a letter to the actual commanding officer and, said all of this stuff about him. And, we want these weekends back, and we're demanding the weekends off, and, all of those things, right? So they were passing the letter around and wanted everybody that was in a specialized unit to sign it. Well, everybody had signed it. I was the last one to sign it. Let me tell you what happened. Not only did I not sign it, let me say it again, not only did I not sign it, but then after, I pick up the phone and actually call the commander and say, hey, listen, this is what's going on. Some people may say like, oh, you a snitch. Damn right I'm a snitch. You don't condemn somebody without having a conversation and sharing with them. On top of that, guess what happened next? Eventually, they got rid of that commander, right, over that specialized unit, brought someone else in. Not only did we start working Saturday for 4 hours, we started working Saturday and Sunday. We wind up working 7 days a week now. Obviously you had your 2 days off here in America, but we started working now 7 days a week. Then he came back and was like, oh man, we feel bad. We didn't know it was going to be this, or we didn't know it was going to be that, or this, or that, or that, or this. And I was sitting there just thinking like, oh. And then they looked at me. I was like, well, y'all brought this up. Y'all signed it. See, a leader will go down paths that you may not be the most popular person. But when it shakes out in the end, now everybody's trying to follow you. So now that whole unit disbanded, except for a couple of people, but they went and it was just totally different because we decided to be a leader. Well, I got elevated and went to, I just went somewhere else and got elevated. Other people still, then they started like, oh my God, we had this, now I don't have my own this. And it was all kind of crazy. So the moral of this is take the lead. Take the lead. Act, but don't react. So take the lead. Instead of living according to everyone else's expectation, embrace your own intuition. For me, when they gave me that, I was like, I'm not signing that immediately because I felt, it just felt wrong, just deep within. Some of you guys know some things like that happen and you feel bad, but we continue to move forward. Don't do that. Stay and embrace your own tuition. Instead of basking your reality in reactions to those around you, act out of your own power. Never give your power away. Act within your own power. A lot of times people want to snatch your power, have you doing crazy things. Don't do that. And stay and act within your own power. This is your life. This is your life. I will say this. This is your life. So please start living it. Please start living it. Other people can't be you. So please start living it, because now you're being authentically you. It doesn't matter what he says. It doesn't matter what she says. Just continue to be authentically you. All right. Number 7. And this is, we almost finished. I got one more after this one. How to be more authentic. So I got one more. Give love first. Give love first. This kind of a difficult one, because a lot of times you may be pissed off. You may be seething, but please share love first. One of the perks of living a more authentic life is learning to give from your core gift. Let me say that again. One of the perks of living a more authentic life is learning to give from your core gifts. Your core gifts, those things that the Creator have endowed you with, all those qualities that make you uniquely you. See, a lot of times we trying to put on for other people, and that's not who you are. So stop doing it. Be authentically you. When you give of yourself in this way, you honor and lift everyone and everything you touch. Let me say that again. When you give of yourself in this way, you honor and lift everyone and everything you touch, including yourself. When you give of yourself in this way, you honor and lift everyone and everything you touch, including yourself. See, when you're coaching or when you're empowering someone and they start cutting you off, or they do something crazy, or somebody else throw a ball and hit you on the head, instead of snapping, instead of doing something crazy, instead of getting out and running out or whatever it may be, how about just sit down? How about just grab their hand or hold their foot or grab their neck gently and lovingly and just say, hey, let me just share this with you that I think we'll be able to improve upon. And let's walk this walk together in love, right? Because you're giving love first. Give love first. And you will be surprised of how much you diffuse arguments and foolishness. Now, let me put a caveat here. Y'all know I got a caveat. Let me put a caveat here. There are some people that can't receive your love, period. That's it. There are some people that can't receive your love. I know we talk about give love first, and you're giving from the core of who you really are. But some people can't receive your love. Because they can't receive your love, it doesn't matter if you give love first, second, third, or 10th. They can't receive it. They're incapable. They're blocking it, or whatever it may be. But for you, always give your love first. And then if they can't receive it, understand how to maneuver, because they may not be at your level. You know, if you're operating at 20% and somebody's literally operating at their capacity, that's their capacity. Receive it, understand it, know that's their capacity, and move in a specific light that you know how to move in. Don't try to change them or do all of those other things. Just understand who they are. So what are you waiting for? Pay someone a compliment. Listen, I love you, baby, or have a great day, sweetheart. Or y'all know people have pet names for the loved ones, right? Hey, my love, I love you. Have a great day. Or good morning, sweetheart. You ever thought about doing something like that? Paying someone a compliment, or that was, yeah, that was kind of a compliment. Or saying, you know what, you look good today. Have you ever had somebody say, you know what? Somebody told me this. There's a few people that have told me this. They're talking about they fat, they need to lose weight and all of that stuff. And I say, well, I need to lose weight too. I look like a bowling ball. I was, anyway, I'm not gonna go into that. But you would be like, listen, I sure like the way you look in your dress, or I like this, or I like the way you look in those pants, or you sure wearing that tuxedo, or you sure looking great in this swimsuit, or whatever it may be, right? Don't knock them, but again, you're giving love first. Now I can see some of y'all people like, well, if they fat, they fat. If let's say this, right? If they're fat, how about love them into losing weight? Let me say that again. If let's say somebody's fat and you know they're fat, how about love them into losing weight? If you went to them and say, look, get your fat ass on this treadmill and start running, you think they're going to get on the treadmill? Or if you said, hey, listen, baby, I want to be with you the rest of my life. I love you. Well, I don't know, whatever pet name you want to give. My love, I love you. How about let's just go walking? Let's just start walking because we want to stay healthy. I want you here with me for the rest of my life. I want us to live a long, loving life. Let's go to the store today and let's go shopping for some a little bit better and healthy food so we can continue to keep healthy and stay healthy and begin to not get on, diabetes pills or shots or whatever it may be. We get off of sugar or as some people say, sugar diabetes. But you don't have sugar, or you want to keep your blood pressure at a certain place, and those things that they will be more likely to do that than if you just yell at somebody, tell them go get on the treadmill, or they'll say something like, "You don't want to get on the treadmill." I know some relatives that will say that you ain't getting on the treadmill. That's too damn stupid. That's just too damn stupid. But, hey, listen, they're already feeling bad about where they are. There's no sense in you continually poking the bear. So just love them into that and make them feel better. And then the last one is this. This goes into all of what we just talked about. Embrace your imperfections. Embrace your imperfections. Do you find yourself trying to be perfect for social media, your career, your appearance, other things? The reason why you may be struggling with authenticity is because you're striving for perfection, but you'll never, let me say that again, but you're never, and I'm shouting out all my Virgos because y'all know we want to have everything perfect, but you'll never achieve it because the bar is always getting raised. The bar always going higher and higher and higher, right? So don't try to be perfection. You'll drive yourself crazy if you keep trying to tweak every little thing about your life. Listen, if you want to weigh 170 and you're wearing 172, don't try to kill yourself to lose 2 pounds. No. If you have a scar, matter of fact, let me share this as a personal story. So I shared this a few weeks ago, what have you, and I went into some stuff and I got Bell palsy, right? So one of the things that I don't like is I'm not 100% with some of my nerves in my face. So I smile and you can see most of it. I'm about 95% there, maybe 96 or whatever it may be, but I don't have that 100%. And I've tried everything to rejuvenate that nerve and all of those things. So it aggravates me, to be quite honest. It aggravates me, but I have to embrace that imperfection because it's just what it is. I'm trying, I work out, I do all of the things that the doctor has shared with me to do. So I continue to do that. But guess what? If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's no problem. We can continue to move forward. So don't try to change the imperfections like that. Just be who you are. That's all. Just literally be who you are. If you're imperfect and you want to do something to try to help yourself out in a better light, that's fine. But every single little bitty small thing, listen, you can't fix everything. Everything is not going to be perfect. You're not the creator. So please allow yourself some grace in that space to be able to do those things. So again, in closing out, I love you guys. Being authentic is one of the most difficult things because of the social norms and the pressure people put on people to do certain things. But as you being a leader, you don't have to worry about that. Blaze your own trail. Do it for yourself. Focus on connections with people and not possessions. Let me give you these 8 points that I think it was 8. So just in closing out, so you'll know the 8. How to be more authentic. Give up the act. Number 2, get comfortable being vulnerable. Number 3, do it for you. Number 4, focus on connections, not possessions. Number 5, be humble. Number 6, act, don't react. Number 7, give love first. And number 8, embrace your imperfections. Guys, if we begin to solve those things and do those things, we will definitely be a lot more authentic. I've been working on, and I consistently work on being authentic. Sometimes, whew, is some of the most difficult things to do. But as you're doing it, it becomes more and more of your authentic, you become more and more of your authentic self, and it begins to smooth out. And the pressures of yesterday and the past and other people begin to fade away, and you begin to live more and more of your truth. So, guys, listen, I appreciate you guys today. This has been powerful. I pray you guys have got something out of this. Go to my email, shoot me an email. Let's talk with Stanley D at gmail.com. LETSTALKWITHSTANLEY D as in David at gmail.com. Shoot me an email. Let me know how we doing. Let me know if there's any other topics that you guys want to discuss, talk about, bring on some other guests. And we have other people or guests that are coming on. One of the things I want to do, I ain't going to spoil it for y'all. I'm just going to do it. But listen, let's go to all those social media platforms, subscribe, share, like, share it with other people. Share the Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette podcast with people. I, again, thank you. And I'm so humbled that you guys consistently listen to us each and every week. All of the team is excited. I'm excited. Thank you guys so much. And remember, you are authentic. Be you, not someone else. Be authentically you. So with that being said, I'm going to see you guys next week. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. We got another live one coming next week. So we'll see you guys on the beaches of the world somewhere, but continue to be authentic. I love you guys. And I will see you guys as I'll get ready for my outro music. We're about to take it to the street. Let's go.